Hi, welcome to my YouTube. Guess what Santa brought me? And I couldn't wait till Christmas to show you. It's a GSG-16. But it wasn't really what I wanted. What I really wanted was a GSG-5, its predecessor. But it wasn't available because it was banned in Canada. Probably for the same reason why Heckler & Koch sued them for patent dress infringement, which basically means it resembled their real MP5 cosmetically. They settled out of court with GSG agreeing to pay $300,000 and making design changes. What followed was the GSG-522, the second predecessor. The major changes from what I can see were front sight charging tube assembly, the grip had texture, they added a rail to the receiver, and a few other minor modifications. Still not good enough, said the RCMP. And obviously not good enough for H&K, because lawsuits continued to fly. Lawsuits and countersuits. Finally, after a decade-long litigation, this is the result. GSG-16, which the RCMP did approve. So, let's begin. Let's check out what's in the box. Okay. This is what all the fuss is all about. We have a gun, one magazine, a very important conversion kit, cable lock, manual and some sights with a cleaning brush. Okay, first impression. There's a lot of plastic in this, except for the fake suppressor, but everything else is all plastic. First impression, it feels quite light. Lighter than the 5 pounds I was expecting, and an awful lot of rails. I think they were overdoing the rails. They even have rails on the buttstock, and of course they have one right across the top and two on the sides and one at the bottom. Luckily, all the rails on the handguard can be removed, and so is the one on the receiver. Unfortunately, the rail that's on the buttstock cannot be removed. Okay, let's begin. Let's start from the back and work our way to the front. What do I think about this buttstock? I just don't like the looks of it. To me, it looks like a ski boot or something. I mean, you can see this, like, what is this thing? I think the reason why it looks like this is because they're trying to do a dual purpose. Beside a buttstock, it's also a place that you would store a magazine like this. Unfortunately, I don't have I mean, this looks terrible. I mean, you know, like, who wants a buttstock this long? Obviously, it should have included a 10-rounder magazine, which would look better than this, but it didn't. This is the only magazine it came with, and I would never fire a gun with a magazine in the buttstock like this. And there's no lock. It could just overuse. I can see this falling out. So yes, I am not crazy about the look or the dual use, the multi-purpose use of this buttstock. Let's see, this is obviously the lock that unfolds the folder. It has 4 positions, and for a plastic it's pretty sturdy. And I'm gonna shoulder it, and oh, I can feel this dreaded rail right on my cheek, right here. It's poking right into my cheek here, and I don't understand what that is for. Is that you put another piece here for the cheek rest? No, if it does, then you can't fold this. I actually have no clue what this is for, and it's something that I just can't even modify it. I can't just even cut it because it's, you know, it's a void in here, and if I cut it, it'll actually weaken this whole structure. So that's gotta go. The lock is pretty secure, actually. I like the lock. It's very good. It's easy to operate. It's good. Okay. Next, the sights. Pretty simple sights. 1 aperture, adjustable. There's a screw on this side. A little bit wobbly. And the front sights is just 2 ears on either side of the post. Pretty simple. Nothing fantastic. And between them is a long 2-piece rail. And thank goodness they have screws attached to them, so if one who doesn't want them can always remove them. Next, I'm looking at the selector. Let's see how easy to use it. Not too easy to operate with the thumb. I have to literally get my thumb a little further out to move from safe to fire. Let's try this way. Yeah, this is okay. Pretty easy to operate. I mean, it's smooth moving. Once I can reach in the safe position to the fire position, I'm okay. The grip, it has finger groove. Very comfortable. I like it. I also like the angle. Okay, let's see. It won't fire. I guess it requires a magazine. It's fairly light except for a long travel. Let's try that again. Okay, it has a BHO feature. Okay, so the bolt won't go forward with the empty mag. So I have to release it. Okay, it has a locking non-firing mechanism in there. So without a magazine, it will not release the hammer. So I have to have a magazine in for the hammer to come down. Now look, it has this long travel. Yeah. Okay, except for the long travel, the trigger's okay. Okay. Next is the mag release. This is a fairly simple ambidextrous mag release. Let me see if it releases the mag this way. It does. And if I were to go this way, it does. Fairly easy to reach, no problem there. Yes, the magazine holds 22 rounds. It has this easy to release the tension of the spring. The only thing this is quite common that I don't particularly like about 22s, is that the magazines are see-through. I'm going to have to try to find a way to cover that up, but not, prevent the use of this. Because releasing the pressure to load helps. Would make it easier to load, but at the same time, it just makes it look so ugly with the see-through mag. Yeah, this is it's an okay. Okay, next thing are the charging handles. It has ambidextrous charging handle. I can actually move this to this side, and it has, I could do the MP5 slide. Pretty cool. Okay, and it has these handguard, has 4 rails. I think they just overdid the rails, okay? And these rails are obviously not particularly comfortable to hold, and it kind of seems big. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think this handguard looks just way too big and not really comfortable to hold. I think I would have preferred to actually remove some of these rails. The fake suppressor. On the picture, it looks way too skinny for it to be a fake suppressor. So let's measure and see what's the diameter of that. It's about 1 1/8. That's a fair size. Fair size. I would have preferred a little thicker, but I think apparently there may be some issues with that with the ATF in the United States. But otherwise, this has a 16 and a 1/4 inch barrel, I believe. I can't exactly remember. Weighs 5 pounds. It feels a lot lighter than 5 pounds. And actually, that was one of the main issue a lot of people have, is that it's a little bit too light. And well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to put on some of the weight. Now, this kit, if you're gonna buy this, you have to have this, okay? So this whole 10 years of legal battle, why is it that way? Why didn't these guys at GSG know that this was gonna happen? I mean, you copy a design and then you go head and head against one of their licensee, which is Umbarex, and they're gonna sue you, okay? And on top of that, your model number, you use a 5, which indicates that. And then when you agree to stop, copying them, you still use the 5 in the GSG-522, and that's why this one has no indication relationship to a GSG-5 or a GSG-522. They couldn't even call this a GSG-22-5. So that's why they randomly chose 16. So my intention is that, like, if they why couldn't they have built this like 10 years ago, right off the bat? And I tell you why. If they built this like this 10 years ago and saved themselves a lot of headache in the court, I would not likely buy this, because what does this look like? It doesn't look like anything to me. But the fact is that they have this kit, okay, that's going to allow me to get as close to the original GSG-5 appearance, then I would buy this. Otherwise, I wouldn't buy this, because this is not particularly attractive gun to me. So let's look into what's in this kit. This is the content. has a manual. It has the GSG-5 grip, or you could call it a lower receiver. Oh, and this is the most important part of the whole kit. Okay, it is the front sight charging tube combo. This is what's the most important part of the whole kit, and it's made out of aluminum or some sort of a alloy, but it has significant weight, and that's what I've been looking for. I need to put some weight back onto the GSG-16 because it just feels just way too light. It feels like a toy, and this will help. Sling, bunch of sight posts. I have no clue what this is, but I think this goes on, it's called a what? Number 5 receiver cap. Okay, it goes on top of the receiver. I don't think this could be used at all because GSG-16 has a rail on it. Oh, and this is the second, probably the most important part of this kit, are these charging handles. And you can really feel them. They're made out of metal, some sort of alloy, and I don't think they're made out of steel. Let me get a magnet. Nope, they're not made out of steel. Magnet, not jumping, not sticking. So yeah, these two, excellent. Oh, this is the GSG-5 mag release, and also the GSG-5 selector. Okay. Yeah. Nice. The difference between this and GSG-16 is that it's straight, no finger groove. Different than the GSG-522, which had raised spots on them, like texture. But yeah, this is the most important part. I have to starting to convert the appearance of a GSG-16 back to GSG-5, and this is the picture they have. This is what I'm going to try to get the GSG-16 back to the GSG-5, and thank God they have this kit. Apparently they were allowed to sell these kits because they have overstock of these parts. When they were told they cannot use these parts, they decided to market these parts separately, and they've been marketing these parts for, I mean, almost like 8 years, surprisingly. Anyway, so yes, I'm all excited. That's my intention. What I'm going to try to do is take the GSG-16 and try to find, I need to find handguards, stocks, and replace the folder they have now. And I might even go with a flashlight handguard. So yeah, that is my whole intention with the GSG-16. So thank you for joining me, and please subscribe, and happy holidays.